Joe. He'll walk you through the concepts on the go. If there's any advice you've got, see the show. Cowboy Joe. Cowboy Joe.
Oh, hey, how you doing? It's Cowboy Joe here. Hey, I got a recapitulation for section 1.11. You ready for your second lecture? This lecture is on units in sig figs. Your goal by this lecture is to be able to convert units and perform arithmetic operations maintaining sig figs. All right, so units. Funny story about units. Where do they come from? Where do they go? I don't know. Cotton Eye Joe. Here we go. System International de Unites is where it came from. The scientists all around the world actually got together and tried to figure out how they can communicate effectively. So in order to communicate, so 5, a length unit equal to same length unit in another country, they had to come up with the same unit. So they identified 7 base units. And these 7 base units are presented in that table there. They're called SI units. SI comes from the name of the international group that got together. They call themselves System International de Unites, or the International System of Units. So there it is. The SI has 7 base units. Only one has a prefix. It would be that kilogram there. That CD on the bottom does not, that C doesn't mean centa. That's a candela. So those are the 7 base units, and everything can be measured with one of those units or a combination. These are called derived units. When you mix a couple of those units up, like the unit for speed isn't there. There isn't a mile per hour looking kind of unit up there. But the unit for length would be meters, and the unit for time would be seconds. So when you put them together like meters per second, that would be the SI unit. That would be the SI derived unit to represent speed. The SI system also adopted the metrics prefixes. The metric prefixes are listed in this table, and there are several of them. It'd be a good idea to become familiar with them and try to come up with different ways to remember them, like nano. The N and the N in nano mean -9. Focus on the N and the N for -9. Something similar spelling to nano is giga. Look, 2 consonants down here, mega. Not mega, we're giga, there it is, 9. So they're like sisters, but this was 10 to the 9th, the other one's 10 to the -9th. Mega million jackpot, mega million. Mega means million, which is 10 to the 6th. You got milli, 10 to the -3. Pico, maybe pike swim 12 inches below the surface. Maybe you can remember a phrase like that to remember -12. I don't know, I have a sister, Tara, that did a recording when she was 12. Come up with your own slogan, but try to remember the prefixes. And our first goal in this is to be able to convert from one form to another using a prefix. So 43.8 centimeters, can we change that to meters? Well, that C from this table has a value. The C's value is 10 to the -2. So all we got to do is look at that and replace the C with a 10 to the -2. The C is the prefix, the M is the unit. And if we take that prefix out magically and replace it with its value times 10 to the -2, we can get the answer of 0.438 meters. Let's try another one. 245.98 kilojoules to joules. Well, again, all we're doing is removing the K. These are basic unit conversions. So removing that K, the K, again, is the prefix. The J is the unit for joule. And the K has a value of 10 to the 3rd. So times 10 to the 3rd is the same as moving the decimal 3 to the right. So if you move that decimal 3 to the right, you get your answer. All right, so in order to get to the more complicated conversions, unit conversion, we're going to talk about conversion factors. And we're going to use this to convert more difficult conversion. A conversion factor is a multiplier equal to 1. Um, you can name any two things that equal the same, like 1 kilogram is actually 1,000 grams. And if you made a fraction out of those two things, it doesn't matter which one's on top or which one's on the bottom. If you made a fraction out of those, the value of that fraction would be equal to 1, and we call that a conversion factor. Even if we flipped it to the other, to its reciprocal, then it would still be a conversion factor. The prefixes can also make up conversion factors. Like, let me pick one out there. I see K and I see C. See this one right here? Let's look at this one. See, we could write this the same way if we just had 1 centinewton, that's what CN stands for, centinewton, and we put 10 to the negative 2 newtons. Those would represent the same, but 10 to the negative 2 is the same as 1 over 10 squared, which is 100. So the C has a value of 10 to the negative 2, and you can create it with the prefixes like that as well. All right, so let's have a little practice creating conversion factors. So all we have to do is name 2 ways to express the length of a meter stick. Let's say it's 100 centimeters. Let's say it's 1 meter. Let's put a fraction bar in the middle, and then we can flip it. So those two can be used to convert units. We'll see that in a minute. So if we're talking about yardstick, we don't stick with yard too much. A yard is a customary unit. It's a unit that we use here in the United States, but it is not a unit that we will use much in this class. We'll stick with the SI units. But anyways, a yard is 3 feet. 3 feet is 36 inches. Put a line in the middle, flip it, same thing. We can even use 1 yard. There's lots of conversion factors here, and you just got to pick the right conversion factor to convert from the right unit. All right, so this method of using those conversion factors, it's called dimensional analysis. The method of treating units as algebraic quantities that can be canceled is called dimensional analysis. Like 5x over x, the x's cancel. Well, if it was 5 centimeters over a centimeter, the centimeters can cancel. So when we use units as algebraic quantities which can be canceled, then we call it dimensional analysis. Dimensional analysis uses conversion factors to manipulate the units of a measurement without changing the value of the measurement. For example, you know 66 inches is 5.5 feet, but let's use this skill. So in order to do this problem, I like to write 66 inches, and on the right somewhere, where we're going, we want to go to feet. So inches, feet, that's our 2 units. They're both units of length. Let's figure out how many inches are in a foot. 12 inches in a foot, that's how it is. But they can't really cross cancel if we had the 12 inches on the top. So let's switch it so that the 12 inches is on the bottom. So now we can cross cancel the inches, and we're multiplying it by 1. That conversion factor doesn't change the value, so really all we have to do on the calculator is 66 divided by 12, and it gives us the 5.5 that we knew. Here's another one we know, 75 centimeters. We just did this one. That's 0.75 meters. So if we start with 75, the conversion factor to go from centimeters to meters, those two units create the conversion factor. So centimeters, do we want it on the top or do we want it on the bottom? First of all, how many centimeters are in a meter? Well, if you know that, now don't get me wrong, you can use C's value as 10 to the negative 2 to get this written correctly. You'd put 10 to the negative 2 meters equals a centimeter. So 10 to the 2 meters on top, centimeter on the bottom, you could create it like that. But a lot of people know that there are 100 centimeters in a meter. So now that's our conversion factor. Do we write it this way, or this way, or this way, or this way? Well, we want the centimeters to cross cancel. So we want the centimeters on the bottom. That will create the units to cross cancel. And that's what we want. If they cross cancel, they're gone. Take the 75 divided by 100 to get your 0.75 meters. Let's look at another problem. How many kilograms is 275 grams? So again, 275 grams on the right, kilograms symbol is kg. So grams, kilograms, that creates our conversion factor. So how many grams are in a kilogram? Kilo means 1,000. So that means 1,000 grams when it's a kg. So you got 1,000 grams is equal to a kg. 1 kg is 1,000 grams. So that's our conversion factor. And we want the grams on the bottom so that it cross cancels. So just like that, you take the 275 divided by 1,000 because it's on the bottom, and that gives us 0.275. Let's go to a hard one. What if there were 2 units? What if we had to go from 5.30 meter per second to kilometer per hour? Well, I recommend you using a horizontal division bar to keep things straight. Notice how I wrote 5.30 meters over a second and kilometers over an hour. So look at 1 unit, a unit of length first. The unit of length is meters, and our target unit of length is kilometers. So if we go from meters to kilometers, then let's think, how many meters are in a kilometer? Well, there's a lot of meters in a kilometer, like 1,000, because the K means 1,000. The top says 1,000 meters. On the bottom, you got 1,000 meters. They're the same. We could use that as a conversion factor, and the meters will cross cancel. So now let's look at seconds and hours. That's a good question. Seconds and hours. How many seconds are in an hour? Well, there are 60 seconds in a minute. So 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour. 60 60s. How many is 60 60s? Well, 60 60s is 3,600. We want the seconds on the top and the hours on the bottom. That way the seconds will cancel. And now we just got to deal with the numbers. Forget about the ones. Multiplying divided by 1 doesn't change anything. So put 5.30 on your calculator. Divide it by 1,000 and multiply, since it's on the top, by 3,600. We'll get an answer. Now notice we start with 3 digits in our measurement. We want to end with 3. 19.1. We'll talk about that later when we talk about sig figs.
Cowboy Joe. Cowboy Joe.